just going to zoom out just a scooch. So cosine law is when you have no matching set. Like when you don't have a completed matching set. So I would use sine law when I have the information of a matching set. I'm going to use cosine law when I don't have the information of a matching set. All right. Cosine law is on your formula sheet, which I always look to my bulletin board to see if I have a formula sheet. I never do. So your cosine law is right next to your sine law. And this one also kind of has a provision. This is what I call the earmuffs. So a squared equals b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cos of angle A. So a couple of quick things. I call these the earmuffs because they have to match. So your side has to match your angle. I call them the earmuffs because they start and finish the equation. Okay, so they have to match. And when I say match, those are the coordinating like vertex and its matching side. I also want to point out, like the ABCs don't really matter, but whatever you put here and here, so anything inside stays inside. So if this is X and this is Y, then this is X and Y. Also, order of operations. What happens first? Multiply, divide, or add, subtract? Multiply and divide. So please note that these are all multiplied together. It is a stronger bond. It is a stronger bond than adding and subtracting. Everybody get that?
So we're not going to include that negative in there?
Oh, we could if you want to, but just keep it in mind. We'll go through one and I'll show you where the common mistakes happen, and you guys are never going to make those mistakes, so it's not going to be an issue. Okay, so you got earmuffs, you got some internal purple things. Okay, we should never see A appear in a side anywhere inside the formula. It's an earmuff, it's going to go on the outsides. And then just a reminder that these are all multiplied. And this will come into play when we're solving for a variable. In essentials, do I have an essentials formula sheet? I have a calculus formula sheet, but I don't know if I have an essentials one. In essentials, we teach it a different way, and we rearrange the formula. I do not have a grade 12 essentials. Boo. Oh, I lied. Yeah, here it is. So in grade 12 essentials, we do sine law and cosine law as well. We don't do ambiguous cases in grade 12 essentials. So you just get the triangle. So there you go. You're going to be able to do this with your eyes closed. You're going to do sine law and cosine law. Easy peasy. So when they do in essentials math, so notice they put brackets around it. That's super helpful just to remind us that those things are multiplied. You guys can take that or leave that. But when they're solving for an angle, they've rearranged the entire equation and they just did a little bit of algebra. So in essentials, the formula sheet has done the algebra for you. We're going to do the algebra within the question. If you want to memorize this, I got no problems with that, but I'm not going to give that to you on your formula sheet. And you're going to have to do the math on your own, which it's just formula work, so not a big deal. Okay, let's dive in. So we got distance between two aircrafts. We have aircraft 1 and we have aircraft 2, and we are trying to find the distance between them. We have no matching set. So we have a 50, but we have no matching angle. We have a 72, but we don't have a matching angle. We have an angle of 49, but we don't know its side. So what are the earmuffs? The earmuffs are going to include the thing you're looking for. So that's my earmuff in this situation. So that's going to start my equation, and that's going to end my equation. So d squared is going to be on the outside, and then we're going to have the other information in there. So I'm trying to solve for d, so in the formula it's going to go in as d squared, and then it's these other two sides. It's kind of like Pythagorean theorem, which side's a, which side's b. It doesn't really matter. So I'm going to have 72 squared plus 50 squared minus 2, because 2 is in the formula, like that number 2 is in the formula, times 72 times 50 times cos of 49. Oh, sorry, and that's a bad 4. So what you see are the earmuffs are the side that I'm trying to solve for and its matching angle. Okay, so now we're going to do some math. Oh, I still left my graphing calculator downstairs. That's a pain. Okay, here we go. D squared. So 72 squared gives me 5,184 plus 50 squared. I can do that in my head. 2,500 minus. Now here's the thing. This is what I was talking about. Order of operations says I got to do all this multiplying. Okay, got to do all this multiplying first. So I'm going to 2 times 72 times 50 times sine. No, it's not the sine law. It's the cosine law, everybody. So cosine of 49. We just came off doing sine law, and that's a really common mistake, is to use sine in your calculator instead of cos. I just did that, and not on purpose. So that's going to be 4,723.625009. That's what my calculator says. So now it's just adding stuff up. And I'm showing you all the steps. You guys could totally skip some of these in your calculator if you wanted to. You guys know, and I don't know if I've ever said it explicitly to you, you don't round inside your equation. You only round your final answers. So you got to use all the decimal places in the calculator. So you see I used all of those. I'm probably going to round my answer to 2 decimal places, but we don't round within our equation, only round the answers. Okay, I don't want d squared.
Then you want to find the square root of it.
Exactly.
To get rid of the square.
And we'll go 2 decimal places. So if I use all the decimal places that are on the calculator, if I want to go to 2 decimal places, I don't need to write this. I don't need to write that if I just said round to 2 decimal places.
Don't forget kilometers.
Exactly. I'm going to lose a half mark here because I don't have units. And so this was all done in kilometers, so this distance would also be in kilometers. So pretty straightforward. It's just some formula work. A couple of quick things that you need to remember. Use cosine because it is cosine law. And that earmuff set. So if we looked at a grade 12 provincial essentials exam, this is where you're going to get your marks. Like this would be a 3-mark question. You'd have 1 mark for correctly selecting to use cosine law. You'd have 1 mark for correct substitution into the law. And then you'd have 1 mark for the final answer, for doing the math right. So that's how the 3 marks would break down. So on provincial exams, when you guys get to grade 12, they're really prescribed on how we mark them. So you just gotta make sure you're showing some work so that I can give you the appropriate mark. So if I was marking this for a grade 12 provincial exam, or a grade 12 essentials provincial exam, you didn't specifically state cosine law, but this is the cosine law, so you get 1 mark. Substituted incorrectly, you get 1 mark. If you did some funky math down here, you lose your mark for your final answer, but you get a 2 out of 3 on that. And that doesn't sound too bad, but it's really easy to lose those marks. So putting the information, getting into the habit of writing all that stuff down is good practice for grade 12. Okay, we're gonna find an angle. We're gonna find angle A. So I'm trying to solve for that angle there. I have no matching set, so I know I can't use sine law. I have no matching set. So where are my earmuffs? What side matches with my angle? The 18. So that's my earmuffs. And I say silly stuff like that, like the physics flip and the earmuffs, to hopefully embed it in your brain when you go to do this on your own. Okay, so let's fill in what we know. We have 18 squared equals 22 squared plus 30 squared. It does not matter if your 30 came first or your 22, it doesn't matter. 2 is in the formula. Okay, now I gotta do some math. And maybe it might be helpful if we put some brackets around this. I don't know. It's up to you. Okay, so this is where people make mistakes. When they add these two things together, then they go ahead and subtract that. But what operation is happening between it's multiplication there. So that's a coefficient on the cos of theta, because that we don't know. So this is locked together. You cannot subtract it. So we're gonna have 324 equals 1384 minus 1320 times cos of theta. So I need to get that variable by itself. This is where people make the mistake. They subtract these two, and then everything's bad from there. So again, you would get your mark for cosine law, you get your mark for correct substitution. This would probably be a 4-mark question, or they'd give a half mark for the math, and they'd give a half mark for the correct answer. So, I'm using my highlighter again. This gets locked together, so I'm gonna have to minus 1384 from both sides to isolate what I need here. So did not leave myself enough room, but we'll be okay. I want to get cos theta by itself. We said that these were multiplied, so the opposite is to divide by the negative 1320. And we got to divide the other side by negative 1320. calculator's showing me that the O3 repeats. And is this my answer for theta?
Nope.
Nope. Gotta do the second function. You don't have to write this step. I'm just writing it so that your notes are full and complete. So I'm gonna do second function cos. Answer equals, hopefully your calculator is in degree mode. And we'll go to 2 decimal places. We're living on the edge. So getting comfortable with using the answer key button in your calculator is really good so that you don't have to type in all those letters again. Okay, pretty exciting stuff. That one is the confusing one, solving for it. But yeah, it's up to you how you choose to do it. But this is where most people make their mistake, and then you're gonna get a funky number. Okay, last one's a word problem. You're gonna have to draw a pretty picture. The posts of a hockey goal are 2 meters apart. That's as good as I'm gonna get. That's 2 meters. We have a hockey player down here with his little hockey stick. I know you're pretty impressed with my drawings. And so he is 6.5 meters away from one goal post, and I don't know, and 8 meters away from the other goal post. What angle does the player have to make the shot from? So what angle am I trying to find? Where's the player? So the guy with the hockey stick, that's the guy who's controlling the angle. So this is the theta I'm trying to find. So what I'd like you guys to do is I'd like you to attempt this question here. I'm gonna do it, you're gonna do it. We're solving for an angle, so it's just like the one above it. What are your earmuffs for this one?
2 and 3.
2 and theta. We'll go to 2 decimal places on the angle. You guys ready to see, or are you still working? Tyler, you down for the count?
Yep, I'm done.
Are you done? I asked if you were down for the count. You napping? What you get?
Oh, you want us to do?
Okay, that's okay. Did anybody get an answer yet? What you get?
10.52.
What did you get? I got 10.53, if I round it correctly. Mhm. And I think that's it. I don't think there's anything else. I think that was like, that's it. That's all. Look at us.